This episode of My So-Called Podcast, we're going to take you back to April 21st, 1992.
We're going to discuss Wish by The Cure and Bill Dukes' Deep Cover.
Bill Dukes'? Hey, everybody. Welcome to My So-Called Podcast.
Hey, thanks. I'm Gary Linton.
I'm Eric Spiegel.
The original My So-Called, or the real My So-Called Podcast.
Right, the real Ghostbusters.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah.
I'm glad you picked that up.
With Slimer.
Exactly.
The real My So-Called Podcast features me, Eric Spiegel, and you, Gary Linton. And what do we do?
We go back to a week in the 90s. We look at a week in the 90s, any week. There were plenty of them. And what we do is there was a movie and an album. Usually movies and albums are released during a week.
Yes.
And we take a look at that week, and we pick a movie and an album that were released that week, and we talk about it.
It's weird how many words we can use to say the same thing every episode.
That's
yeah.
Right, yeah.
But this week, we're going back to April 21st, 1992.
That's
we're
right.
going to talk about The Cure.
Yeah, specifically the album Wish.
Right.
And I wish we would have
talk about Larry Fishburne.
Exactly.
And we will. Your wish will be granted. And we talk about the last movie that he was called Larry Fishburne.
Oh, right.
After Deep Cover, he was Lawrence.
Lawrence? Well, yeah. He grew up on Deep Cover to become Lawrence.
He lost his innocence.
That's
man.
right. Deep Cover, that's the Meteorite movie, right? That's the one.
No, that's Armageddon.
Oh, okay. That's a nice curveball.
That's Trouble with a Curve.
Yeah, okay. That's the Scout.
No, you're thinking of The Muse.
Oh, no, Mother.
Oh, no, you're thinking of To Kill a Mockingbird with Scout.
Yeah, that's it. No, I'm thinking of Why Does the Caged Bird Sing? That poem. I watched that poem.
You did?
Yes.
You saw the movie of that poem?
Yep.
Actually, isn't that what the Maya Angelou, life story is called?
Maybe. I don't know. You're asking questions that I can't answer.
That could be a good movie.
Yep. Yeah, sure.
What do we do?
Well, we go back to a week in the 90s. We talk about a movie and
It's our autobiography.
Oh, okay. It's her documentary?
It's not. It's her documentary. It's the first in a 7-volume series of her whole life. I don't think it was made into... Oh, yeah, there is a film version.
Oh, they film everything these days.
A made-for-TV version was filmed in Mississippi and aired on April 28th in 1979.
They have cameras on their phones, so everybody's filming everything. Snapchat.
In 1979, that's not what happened.
No, whoa, 1979?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a...
Take down, I know how the bird sings. Constance Good played the young Maya.
All right, Billy, let's get this back on track.
All right, I'm gonna leave you, Gary.
What we do
because
is...
it's time for trivia about the 90s.
Right, okay, yep. We like to get
Shapey Zipper Blues.
Okay. We get the listener in the 90s mood by, we ask each other questions. We see if we can answer those questions. You know how it goes.
Trivia. And then you'll be in the mood.
You'll be like, you'll put on your 90s pants.
Why don't I slip into something more comfortable, like some hammer pants?
That's early 90s, I guess. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could wear hammer pants in 92.
And flannel.
Oh, yeah.
Flannel shirt.
Yeah, slip into something more comfortable, like a Catholic schoolgirl outfit. Britney Spears.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah. But that's timeless. Who's asking first, Eric?
Gary, I think that I am.
Okay.
You're winning 9-4. We're playing to 20.
Choo-choo.
Whoever wins
Boja.
gets stakes from the other one.
Yeah.
I already owe you stakes.
Yada,
so
yada, yada. I owe you a steak, so.
it was better with stakes. This is a good question for our podcast.
Okay.
What newspaper fell for the Great Grunge Hoax and printed a bogus teen speak lexicon,
Yeah, I remember
including terms like cobnobbler
Yeah.
and lame stain?
So I remember the documentary Hype. I watched that documentary where this was discussed. Do I remember what newspaper?
What's the documentary Hype?
Hype is about the early grunge scene on Seattle. That's
Ooh.
called Hype. Yeah, you should check it out. It's pretty good.
Can we watch it for this podcast?
Yeah, we definitely can.
I mean, it didn't come out in the 90s, did it?
It did. Yeah.
Oh, well,
I
yes.
think it came out in the late 90s, about the early 90s grunge. And so
1996.
Yep. Well, that's mid 90s, I guess. So
I would say mid to late.
I don't remember what newspaper it was. I'm going to go with USA Today.
Let's see if that's right. Let me turn the card over and find out. Let me turn the card over.
That's a really heavy card.
Oh, no. The New York Times. The
Yeah,
Gray Lady.
That was my second guess.
The Gray Lady.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and ask you another question now. That's how it goes. You ask me a question, then I ask you a question.
Wow. Mind blown.
Yep. What city did Nicolas Cage's film characters crash a plane, lose his fiancée in a poker game, and drink himself to death in? What city?
Man, that guy likes to crash planes in Vegas.
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
Oh, Las Vegas. Yeah, give yourself a ding.
I will.
Okay. All right, there it is.
Yeah. That guy makes a lot of Vegas movies.
Those three.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure there's a few other ones.
Maybe. Ghost Rider was set in Vegas.
Was it?
No, I don't know. Who watched that piece of crap?
Lots of people.
I guess.
Snake Eyes is in Atlantic City. That's close enough.
It's gambling.
Yeah. What movie prompted Richard Corliss to write a review in which the first letter of each paragraph spelled out "she is a he"?
Oh, The Crying Game.
That's right,
Yeah,
boy.
Spoiler. Yeah.
Spoiler. Don't tell anyone the secret of The Crying Game.
All right.
26 years later.
Yeah. Let's see. We're going to do... Keep it going. What actor and aviator loved flying so much he named his firstborn son Jet? Jet.
It's not Paul McCartney.
No.
It is John Travolta.
Yeah, it's so weird that he would name that. It's so weird.
Didn't
Yep,
Jet
that's
die?
correct. I think so.
Jet
I
died?
believe he did.
Yeah,
Yep.
epilepsy, I think.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Sad. What-
R.I.P.
What Too Funky singer filed suit to get out of his contract, noting Sony appears to see artists as little more than software?
Oh, Too Funky. I want to say Prince, because I know he had problems with his record label. I don't know if that was Sony, but I'm going to go with Prince. Who was it? Too Funky.
Too funky for me. You're too funky. It's
So
George
that-
Michael. It's too
Oh,
funky
okay.
for me. Right?
Maybe.
I think I was singing Monkey. Just
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Why
Oh.
can't you do it? Why can't you set your funky free? Wait, here you go.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Oh, wait till he starts singing.
All right. I kind of remember this song.
It's from Faith.
Yeah, I knew Faith, and I Want Your Sex, and Father Figure.
Yep, that's too funky. Yeah, he got out of his contract.
Okay.
Sony sees an artist as little more than software.
Yeah, I can see him saying that now.
They can't see my hardware. If you know what I mean.
We all know what you mean, George. Put it away.
Hello, is little George.
So I don't have another pop culture question on this, so you're going to get this one. Sorry.
Okay.
What Republican campaigner railed at James Carville on the night Bill Clinton defeated George Bush? You make me sick. I hate your guts.
His wife?
James Carville's wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What's her name?
I can't think of her name. Gina Davis.
No. Mary Madeline?
Yeah.
That was it? I wouldn't have known that.
That's his wife. There's that movie.
Who was it? His wife.
His wife. There's that movie Speechless.
Yeah.
Where
Michael Keaton and Gina
Michael
Davis.
Keaton's James Carville and Gina Davis is her. Mary Magdalene.
Mary Madeline.
Madeline. So did I get 2 right? Or
You got 2, and I got
2, you got 1. So
Yep.
10-6. That was fun.
You and I have different definitions of the word fun. Like when I think one, I think I was going to try to belt out Some Nights, but I couldn't do it. So.
Well, you could have belted out their other hit.
Yeah, what is that one, too?
Something about his nephew or something or another.
We Are Young? No.
Oh, yeah. Tonight!
Oh, that's it. Yeah. There it is. Yeah, I didn't have any of those in my head, so. Okay, let's talk about... Okay, so what we do next is we go ahead and give you the top 10 singles or albums, or Eric, you always
the top 10 singles
that The Cure released their album into.
What's your memory of 1992 music, Gary?
I think I was into grunge at that time. Like, I really took a hold of 10, and I was, to a lesser extent, Nevermind. But what was the Alice in Chains? I think they had, or
Alice in Chains?
Yeah, I was 10 was the main thing. I was all about Pearl Jam, and so I was looking up other stuff.
You were really into them early on, huh?
Yeah.
I think I was probably still listening to Billy Joel mostly.
So, that's cool. Number 10, that...
Phil Collins.
Richard Marx?
Mm-mm.
No.
Sting.
I bring that up because he is number 9, Richard Marx. So,
number
10 is Live and Learn by Joe Public.
I have no idea.
I don't know what that one is either. Number 9, Hazard by Richard Marx.
Oh, I do remember that. That's a story song.
Right.
My mother came to Hazard when I was just 7. Even then, something.
Number 8 that week was Masterpiece by Atlantic Star.
Do you remember that song?
No. See, I was not listening to any of these. Maybe number 7 is Make It Happen by Mariah Carey.
This is what Atlantic Star sounds like.
Oh, that sounds a little familiar.
Yeah, it's familiar. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know that one.
This is Make It Happen by Mariah Carey. This is their second album, I believe. Okay. Emotions. You've got me feeling emotion.
Number 6 is Ain't Too Proud to Beg by TLC. On the TLC tip that. I remember that one.
Well, that's an old song.
Yeah. Oh, right. That's a cover of a Temptations song.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they... Oh, it's various artists. Oh, no, this is a tribute to TLC.
Well, you're making a mockery of this podcast. Number 5.
What? I do this every week.
By playing tribute songs to TLC instead of the original.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, I'm making a mockery of TLC,
Right.
I suppose.
Number 5, My Lovin', You're Never Gonna Get It by In Vogue.
It was a huge
hit.
Huge.
Never gonna get it.
No, not this time.
Number 4, back in the charts thanks to a little swing. 4. Yes, I mean, it was a huge hit. People don't need to hear that. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah,
Do you feel like it's ever happened before?
probably. I mean,
Like 20 years apart that a song would come back in the top 10?
yeah, especially from movies. Like, I think The Chain just came back up, or from Fleetwood Mac, something like that.
It was?
Something, I think so. Maybe, I don't know.
Not a
what I'm talking about.
remake.
No.
The old song.
Right.
Yeah, this was definitely the introduction to Queen for me. Like,
Yeah,
I
right.
didn't really know them very well.
I mean, I think I
kind of was
Queen.
aware of
Yeah.
who Freddie Mercury was, but
I mean, I knew some of their songs because you can. I mean, "We Will Rock You." I mean,
sure.
they had a lot of hits.
Actually, I grew up on Another One Bites the Dust.
Right,
I've said on the podcast before that my dad used to say that when we pass a wedding.
Oh, right. But it was definitely my first time hearing Bohemian Rhapsody.
Sure.
Because that wasn't something that.
So the Mr. Robot guy is going to be Freddie Mercury in the Bohemian
Oh
Rhapsody
yeah,
movie.
the video or the commercial came out.
He's got like a tooth implant thing and the perfect mustache. He really looks like him.
All right. Number 3 is "Tears in Heaven" by Eric Clapton.
Oh yeah.
So
that's not from the Unplugged. That's from the movie Rush with Jennifer Jason Leigh.
I remember there's a Mr. Show sketch where he's like, I dedicate this to my dead son who I wrote it about. And then the other guy's like, yeah, I also dedicate it to his dead son. He's like, you can't do that.
Oh god, that's horrible.
It is. Number 2, Save the Best for Last, Vanessa Williams. All right. You keep derailing me.
Save the Best for Last. I think that's still the only song she had a big hit with, right?
Is that the video? Well, I know you don't know videos, but like where she's standing in a field singing? Because I think it was.
Maybe. I think she sang the song for Pocahontas as well, Colors of the Wind, but I don't know if she had any other big hits.
Right.
Do you know the name of the album that Save the Best for Last came from?
Save the Best for Last?
No, it's called The Comfort Zone.
Oh, right.
Which is what I call my lap, Gary. Come over here.
Oh, it is comfortable. Sometimes the song goes around the moon. That never happens, Vanessa. That's why I never listen to the song.
Isn't that a song about like friends who become lovers? It's like a Harry Met Sally situation.
Maybe. Oh yeah, I remember that cover of that album too.
She's all naked and wet.
Number 1 that week was a Jump by Criss Cross.
Oh,
Mac Daddy's gonna make you.
Jump.
Daddy Mac's gonna make you.
Yep. House of Pain will make you.
Jump. The Pointer
Cypress
Sisters
Hill will make you.
Yeah.
Van Halen will make you.
Jump.
Gary. Oh my gosh. We have fun here.
Yeah, we do. All right. The Cure's Wish.
See, we're having fun.
Yep. The Cure's Wish. There's nothing in that top 10 singles to tell you that the Cure were making music at that time.
Yeah, but I'll wager that a lot of the people that liked some of those songs would like these songs.
Yeah.
And one of the songs off this album was destined to become one of those songs.
It was a big hit, yeah.
Gary, we like to introduce our album with an either-or question. The Cure. UK band.
Wait, they're British?
Yeah.
Are they English?
Oh, yeah.
Are they... What's the other word for... That's all I got. UK, Great Britain, England.
Frogs.
Yeah, no, that's the French.
Johnnies.
Yep, there it is.
Johnny
Johnny's. Johnny come latelys.
Redcoats.
Yeah, the Redcoats.
Johnny come lately. Angry Johnny.
That's right. Oh, Poe, she's big now. That tells me about. Go on.
I did a little research of the whole Cure.
Okay.
The whole Cure's
you
career.
You got the Cure.
I have the Cure. It's actually kind of hard to Google this band. There's a word for that. It's like something that's hard to Google. I don't know the word for it. You're in the business.
Yeah. It's Google. I don't have anything. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like the Juul, Juul, is that cheap little vape pen. And that's very Googleable because it isn't anything else. They made up a word.
Right.
But the Cure is lots of things.
Right.
Anyway, I was doing some Googling and I found out this is a band like U2, like REM, like very few others that started in the mid to late 70s, went through the whole 80s, and was still big in the 90s.
Right.
Whenever we were reviewing albums.
Not as big as those two, but
they're not as big as those two, but they were big.
Yeah.
And you could argue they were at this point, 1992, at their highest point they had been at yet.
Well, right.
Which is true of those other two bands as well.
But they also went higher still. I don't know if the Cure went much higher.
True. Don't try to anticipate my either or.
Okay.
Anyway, the point is, were you aware, either you were aware of them at this time,
oh no,
or you were aware of them during the 80s when they did have a string of hits, or sometime later on?
I guess, so...
I mean, just a faint awareness.
Yeah, I think Friday I'm in Love, which was the big hit off of this album, and maybe the Cure's biggest hit?
I think maybe.
Yeah.
It depends on what you mean by that, but yeah.
Because I was listening to... So, I mean, we had The Point radio station back in 1992, St. Louis. We've talked about that before on this podcast. That was the alternative podcast or radio station, and I was listening to the grunge music of that day, so I was listening to The Point. So, and they would play this, so I knew the Cure. Fun fact, though, my older brother Greg, he hates the Cure, and so I always remember that.
Well, I could see people responding strongly to their aesthetic. My introduction to the Cure was that I was vaguely aware of them, and I think probably from Friday I'm in Love. And I was at, this has already been spoken about on the podcast before, but I was on a double blind date to a homecoming dance at a girls' Catholic high school.
I went to it wasn't a blind date, but it was just kind of a date to a Ursuline homecoming in one year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was Koryezu.
Okay.
Anyway, the four of us are standing around, and here starts this song. And everybody started getting excited, and my blind date said, "What's this?" And the other girl said, "You don't know this?" And I said, "You don't know this?"
Oh,
and then
no.
they started singing, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know this either. This isn't Friday I'm in Love." But there's a real similarity between this and Friday I'm in Love.
Sure.
In that that's the good version of Friday I'm in Love, I think. But I do think Friday I'm in Love is more popular, maybe. But anywho, maybe it's just our time frame.
Maybe.
Because if you think about it, it's kind of weird because
maybe
Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me is the album that's off of.
Uh-huh.
And that's 87.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's a totally different world than 92 as far as music. I know they came out with an album in between, and all three of those are regarded highly.
Well, the album in between is awfully considered their best. Disintegration is that album between those two. And
yeah, I think this trifecta, though.
Yeah. And going to give you some other feedback, I was going to say, like, my college roommate had this cover. It wasn't an album, but it was like a little album size poster of this album hanging in our dorm room.
The album cover?
Yeah.
This sand dollar thingy.
That was, so I always remember that, seeing that a lot.
Yeah.
And he actually, just to speak to that, Eric, not you,
Wait. It wasn't me?
It wasn't you. It was another Eric.
Oh,
he actually went
Confusing.
to prom one year all dressed up as Robert Smith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he had his hair real long and up, and he all black.
White
and
makeup?
everything. Yep.
Prom, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's. I think that's the story that tells you what Eric Ludlow is like.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about I found this documentary about The Cure on YouTube, and it's chopped up into like 9-minute bits.
Uh-huh.
And that's always frustrating because, like, sometimes you watch parts 1 through 3, and then you can't find part 4, and you're like, damn it!
Well, exactly.
Anyway, so I got to about 82 on the history of The Cure, because I couldn't find the rest of the documentary. But the one thing they said was interesting about his look is that when he was on the first album, and maybe the second album, he didn't have that look at all.
Okay.
But they were touring, opening for Susie and the Banshees,
yeah.
and their guitarist left. Susie and the Banshees guitarist left.
Oh, and
he said, "I'll do it," because he didn't want the tour to be canceled. Mm-hmm. And he tried out, and he could do it. So he would be Robert Smith in The Cure, opening for Susie and the Banshees, and then he would be Robert Smith, the guitarist for Susie and the Banshees,
right.
Like play all night, 5 hours or whatever.
Well, he does that too. Still, like that's the thing is The Cure will play 3-hour shows. They're like Bruce Springsteen in an aspect. Yeah, exactly.
In that one aspect.
Just that one.
And they're also a band.
I don't know.
But anyway, he affected that look to look more a part of the Banshees. Because that was Susie's look.
Right, yeah.
And so he started to look a little more like her. And then they would say it started like a little... You were in the know. Like, if you went to a bar and you saw somebody that looked like Robert Smith, you could walk up to them and be like, oh, you like The Cure? And like, oh, yeah, I like The Cure.
Yeah, right.
And you'd kind of know they were into Bauhaus or Susie and the Banshees or Bela Lugosi's Dead or whatever.
Exactly.
And so that was kind of a cool...
Joy Division.
I mean, he thought of it as less being like... expressing his individuality more as just a part of the theatrics of rock and roll.
Yeah. Sure.
And I mean, it's a trademark. It worked.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, less self-conscious than like the White Stripes did their little trademark look.
Yeah.
But I think that was part of it.
But so what'd you think of the album, Eric?
Well, so I'm coming into this as a Cure newbie-ish.
Okay.
I think I never took a deep dive into their back catalog because, number one, it's so extensive.
Yeah,
it's hard to know
a lot of albums.
What your
their greatest hits are the way to go. That's how I got introduced to The Cure.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, so.
But I never did that either. But I hated Friday I'm in Love.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I hated it at first or if I just got real tired of it. Not sure.
It's become tiring.
Yeah.
It's a song I don't really ever need to hear anymore.
Mm-mm.
So.
And so that didn't help that was a big hit.
Right.
That didn't hook me.
And I could tell you, just not to interrupt you, but it's like,
interrupt me.
I will interrupt you. I did enjoy it at first, but then it's lived its life. But go on.
Yeah. But then the thing is that over time, I would hear things like Boys Don't Cry.
Great song.
And then I would hear...
Catch.
There was a song on the X-Files Fight the Future soundtrack by The Cure, and I liked that. And
Pictures of You is a great song.
Yeah. And then just a couple years ago, one of my favorite movies that I saw was Tony Erdmann. Did you ever see that?
No.
It's a foreign movie, and then over the closing credits, they had Plain Song by
Cure.
That's a good song. That's a really good song.
Both those are from Disintegration.
So I was like, I think I'd like to get more into them, and that's why I picked this album for this here episode of the podcast. And I think we chose well. We chose a pretty solid Cure album.
Yeah, it's not a bad album. It has some high points.
Like
High.
This song, High.
Yep. Wait, don't step over my jokes, man.
I'm helping you out.
Yeah, okay. High is a good song, and A Letter to Elise.
Shut up.
Oh, okay. We're supposed to comment on them. We can't just play the songs.
Shut up.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a good song.
Yeah,
this is High.
This is, I got some other... Doing the Unstuck, I always like that song.
Doing the Unstuck, I'd like, but it cracks me up because he's like, he's got the line, "It's a perfect day to feel happy." And it's like, I don't really, you're not convincing me, Robert Smith.
Yeah.
Let's get happy.
I enjoy it. A Letter to Elise.
Okay. That's a really good song.
Yep.
I like a part. I actually like every song except for Friday I'm in Love. I'll say that. It really fits together as an album nicely. It's surprising how many of them are not somber dirges.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of like
this is the band
fun.
Right, I think they get a bad rep there. I mean, they're the band that did Love Cats. Have you heard Love Cats?
No.
Okay, you should.
But this song, A Letter to Elise, that's not a downbeat song. High is not downbeat. Friday I'm in Love is not downbeat.
That's what he says.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
I like From the Edge of the Deep Green Sea. You like that one?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's 7 minutes 40 seconds. You probably hate that one.
No, yeah. I mean, it is a little long. I will say that.
It's moody. It almost sounds like the soundtrack to a movie or something.
They got, a lot of their songs.
Cinematic qualities.
Yeah, I would say that. Let's see. We got ourselves how many tracks?
12?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, it's a good album. Good length. An hour and 6 minutes.
Well, it's because there's a lot of longer songs.
Right.
Open is almost 7 minutes. Apart is 6.5. This one's, like I said, almost 8 minutes long. But it all kind of flows together. I mean, a lot of the songs just have one word titles, and they're kind of hard to tell apart. I mean, they aren't, but I think they fit together rather well.
Yeah.
They kind of flow into one another.
So, I mean, we're at a point where it's like, clearly albums were still a big thing.
Yeah.
And the feel of an album.
The character of this album is... This would count as the more mopey goth rock kind of stuff. Not that I'm complaining. I like it a lot. And Apart is a downer of a song, but I like it a lot. This is a breakup song.
Yeah, Apart.
Mm-hmm. This is, I could totally imagine, like, driving around in the rain listening to this after my girlfriend dumped me.
Yeah, stalking her.
No.
No.
I'm just feeling my emotions.
Oh, okay.
It's not the 2018s.
No, right. That's right.
I'm just driving around feeling like deep emotions.
You got me. Wait, feeling
emotions.
Yeah.
Well, so anyway, for me, this was quite a find.
Yeah, I would say if you enjoyed this, definitely look into other Cure songs. Give Disintegration a listen. I'd also recommend probably Catch. What's that one?
Kiss Me.
No, The Head on the Door is a good album.
The Head on the Door. When is that?
That has In Between Days on it, and Close to Me. Close to Me is probably.
That's from the 80s too, eh?
Yeah, I think the heyday was probably the 80s.
85.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the next album after this one.
Blood Flowers, right? Is that after this or Mint Car?
Yeah, it had Mint Car on it, and Mint Car was the lead single, and I remember, the point. They were like, here's the new Cure song. What was that guy's name?
I don't remember.
There's a British guy.
Yeah.
And it's called Wild Mood Swings.
Oh, okay.
That had Mint Car on it. And I was like, okay, I'm down. And then Mint Car started, and I was like, maybe I'm not down.
Oh, right.
That's not that good. I think I just missed the Cure, age-wise.
Yeah. You needed a college roommate that was really big into the Cure.
Right.
Yeah.
Or an older brother that didn't hate the Cure.
Well, right. So where I had that going against me, where I didn't like the Cure until I got to college, and I was like, oh yeah, no, there's some good stuff here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? What's his deal? Why doesn't he like the Cure?
I think he just doesn't care for the way Robert Smith sings. You know, if you don't like the way somebody sings, it's hard to get past that in a band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably, I imagine you've got some sort of psychological baggage too, like somebody liked them that you didn't like, or he reminds you of a guy that acted that way or dressed that way that you didn't like. But, like, I looked them up on Wikipedia and they said that their style of music was gothic rock. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is like, yeah, he wears all black lipstick and his hair all funky. But if you didn't know what he looked like, I don't feel like there's too much that's very gothic about this album.
I think,
I could wear a suit and sing the same songs.
Well, I think that was something much earlier. You know, their Boys Don't Cry, Killing an Arab is another song that they had, which is about the stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
so. It's literate, mopey music,
right?
Is that what goth is about? Because for me, I got goth rocked a little bit more masculinely by Nine Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson.
Well, I don't think I'd consider those goth rock. That's where I would call that as more industrial rock.
Really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't consider those guys to be goth at all?
No. I mean, I guess.
My Trent Reznor recorded the Downward Spiral in Charles Manson's mansion.
Right, and I guess that's where we're just kind of...
No, not Charles Manson's mansion. Where Sharon Tate was murdered by the Manson people. But still, you get my point.
When I think of goth, I think back to those original Susie and the Banshee, The Cure, and Bauhaus and Joy Division. Those were your goth rocks.
Right, and I get that.
And I don't put a through line to Nine Inch Nails or Marilyn Manson for me.
Well, okay. Wikipedia disagrees with you.
They would. Well, Wikipedia disagrees with me?
I mean, go change it, dog.
I will.
Okay, no, they don't, actually.
Okay.
They agree with both of us. In the 90s, several acts, including Marilyn Manson, the Manic Street Preachers, and Nine Inch Nails, included gothic characteristics in their music without being assimilated into the genre.
Yeah.
But, I guess, yeah. Let's see. Portishead was gothic, deadly, and trippy. No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess...
I feel like goth is actually just the way of dressing more than it is a style of music, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's where I think of goth as just being those bands. Like, I don't think there's any new goth bands coming out, I guess. Maybe that's where...
So it's just 4 bands?
Exactly. They were the goth bands. That's it.
Derivative forms of goth are ethereal wave and horror punk.
Horror punk is.
I'm
going
to click on horror punk and see what we get from that.
Some Tramps.
A music genre that mixes proto-gothic and punk rock sounds with a morbid and violent imagery and lyrics. Glenn Danzig,
Slipknot, and
the Misfits, the Undead, Screaming Dead, the Damned, the Cramps.
Wait, the Damned.
TSOL, 45 Grave, and Rosemary's Babies.
Yeah, I mean, there's all these subgenres and genres.
It's not like on this Cure album, there's a lot of singing about vampires or anything.
No, right? Yeah, that's not what the Cure sing about. So,
it's just way to expand upon that comment, Gary.
You're welcome. Happy to help.
Well,
I gotta earn my co-hosting stripes somehow.
So, Gary,
yeah.
Would you say that this expanded your
No, I mean, I didn't know this.
Vision, your knowledge base, your thoughts about the Cure in any way?
No, not listening to this album again. No,
because you were very familiar with it.
With this album, yeah.
You listened to it in college because Eric listened to it a lot in college.
We had music going all the time in the dorm room, just stuff playing. So,
so you were exposed to a lot of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then, would you say, looking back on it, did it bring up any new thoughts?
No.
Has it been a while?
It had been a while, yeah. And no, it's still an enjoyable album. And yeah, I would not say I hate Friday I'm in Love, because one
it's
time
like
I
Hootie
did
and the Blowfish song. It's like, I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Hotel California.
Right. It's a song I don't
Home
really
Alabama.
need to listen to anymore, but had been a while since I've really heard it, and it was fine hearing it again. And yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
It's
about
like
this
the
album.
least goth sounding song, though,
I
right?
think, yeah. I mean, again, yeah, you got to hear Love Cats. Keep going back to that one.
So Spotify tells me Bela Lugosi's Dead by Bauhaus is their biggest song.
Yeah, Bauhaus. I think so. This song's on my Halloween playlist, and so it gets played every year around Halloween.
Oh, that's a good... Is it only you that gets it?
No,
at your house?
I mean, no, I make sure the kids get it.
They're like,
But
remember
they don't.
Ed Wood, kids?
Exactly. I'm dead.
See, that's goth.
Yeah, that's goth.
All right. Well, Gary, we have a rating system.
We do.
Yeah, so 4 stars would be like chemotherapy.
Oh, okay.
Curing cancer.
Curing cancer.
3 stars, antibiotics. Sometimes you don't need them. Other times they save your life.
Right.
2 stars, Tylenol.
Okay.
Works like a charm, but, not necessary.
Yeah.
It's just symptom relief.
All right.
1 star, placebo.
Okay. No, 1 star is, what's the word I'm looking for? Dang it. Okay, I messed this up. I'm going to give it 3 stars.
Hemlock?
No.
Thalidomide?
Well, that doesn't matter.
I could do this all day.
Yeah, I
Keep
bet
going,
you could.
Gary.
No.
What were you trying to think of?
I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to think. It's kind of like a sugar pill, but that's placebo. Right. But
Smarties?
They sell it
Skittles?
to you that it cures thing, and it's like water.
Snake oil?
No. Heuristic? No.
No, that's not right at all.
No.
Gary, I think we should revisit whatever word you're thinking of
Yep.
in the second half of the podcast.
Sounds good.
How many stars would you give this album?
I give it 3 stars.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would give this album 4 stars.
Wow.
I really liked it.
And I guess that's where I'm rating this against other Cure albums.
That's not fair.
I mean, that's what it is.
I'm not,
Okay.
because I don't know them.
Right. So.
I really like it a lot. There's going to be a lot more listening to this in my future, and a lot of these are going to go on my playlists.
Yeah.
It is the tipping point for me to say I like The Cure. I'm going to listen to a lot more Cure.
There's a lot more. They got a lot of really good songs. Listen to that greatest hits.
I thought that I'll just do album by album.
Sure.
Don't tell me how to run my life.
I won't. I apologize. All right. We're going to be back in 2 and 2. Take that, Chuck Woolery.
Hang on. I'm going to play that X-Files song for you.
And The Cure were also on the Crow soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Join us for the second half of the podcast when we're going to talk about.
Did you ever listen to this? It's called More Than This.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's you're not thinking of the right one.
No, that's
XTC.
No. Brian Eno and Roxy Music.
Roxy Music. No, this is a different More Than This.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a techno sound.
Sure. Yeah, they got a little more of that.
It's good.
So the second half, we're going to talk about Deep Cover from director Bill Duke, starring Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, and Larry Fishburne.
And Victoria Dillard.
And Charles Martin Smith.
Yep. Yeah. That guy. His character. All right, we'll
be
right back.
Great casting.
Yeah. Welcome back to my so-called podcast. I'm Gary Linton.
And I'm Eric Spiegel.
Yeah, that was that's called Deep Cover?
It's called Deep Cover. I think it's also known as 187.
Okay.
Because the chorus is 187 on an undercover cop.
Oh, right. So yeah, that's Dr. Dre doing the theme song to the movie we're talking about, Deep Cover, from director Bill Duke.
Yeah, notably, this is Dre's first post-NWA single as a solo artist, and it is featuring Snoop Dogg, but not only featuring him, introducing him.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
To the world.
There he is. That's the Snoop. Yep. Yeah, so...
But yeah, it's basically, one of those story songs that sort of tells the story of this movie a little bit.
Yeah.
There's even a little playlet at the beginning where it's like, you might be 5'0".
Right.
Why you think I'm 5'0"?
Right.
I don't know
we heard it.
That is.
We just heard it.
Which is a little
it's
like...
It's not from the movie.
No, it's not.
No.
They're not in the movie.
No.
There's... it's sort of like the little playlet that opens up the Gangsta's Paradise video, where Michelle Pfeiffer's like, "So, do you want to tell me what this is all about?"
Right.
And he does.
Yeah, he does.
Coolio does.
He does. He breaks it down,
sing and dance, and tell her all about it.
Right. So you're going to give us the top 10 movies that were at the theaters when Deep Cover was released.
Yeah. Did you go to the movies by yourself back then?
No, not in 92. That wasn't until later. I was
You were like 14.
Right.
So you'd have to ask your mom to take you.
I remember going to see Die Hard 2 in the movie theater.
With your brother?
No. It was me and a buddy, and we were like, we bought them separately. So I was like, can I have one for Die Hard 2, please?
Barton Fink.
Exactly. We're going to go see a rated movie. And the thing that did we discuss this on Die Hard 2? Because it was like the main nudity of Die Hard 2 was
William Sadler's butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So it was April 21st, 1992. Here's the box office.
All right.
Number 10, Thunderheart.
Yeah, Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer, Indian Reservation.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
That's all you need to know.
Number 9, Wayne's World.
Showing.
Swing.
Yeah, right. Monkeys are going to fly out of my butt.
As if.
Uh-huh.
Number 10. I mean, that was number 9. It was out for 10 weeks at this point.
Oh, okay.
How much money had it made?
$15 million.
No, hundo million. $102 million against a $20 million budget.
That's why they made a sequel.
That's why they made all It's Pad and Night at the Roxbury.
Exactly. They threw it all at it.
Number 8, Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest.
Yes.
Number 7, City of Joy.
I don't know what that one is.
All I know is that Patrick Swayze is in it, and he's like raising his arms triumphantly.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he's raising his arms joyfully.
Yeah, that sounds more likely.
Number 6, opening at number 6 is Deep Cover.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say a big hit movie, but it's only in 901 theaters. So still, not a great per screen average either. Anyway, interesting. I would have thought this would be a hit.
Yeah.
Number 5, The Babe, starring St. Louis's own John Goodman.
Oh, yeah.
As the Bronx Bomber.
Right.
Lou Reed.
You said that at one point. You were like, I'm not sold on, or I'm not married to Deep Cover. And I was going to suggest The Babe, but then I was like, let's just do Deep Cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you made the right choice.
Right.
Number 4, this would have been interesting. Sleepwalkers.
Oh, but I don't think that came out this week, was it?
Yeah, it was the week before that. Yeah. Incest cat people movie.
Right, yeah.
Number 3, Beef Oven.
Beef Oven?
Beethoven.
Oh, okay.
That's that one where Gary Oldman plays Beethoven.
No.
It's the one where Gary Oldman talks about Beethoven
before
killing people.
No. It's about a big dog.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Yeah.
What does Gary Oldman do?
He kills the dog.
No, he plays the part of Charles Grodin.
And Gary Oldman as Charles Grodin as the dad in Beethoven. I don't know what his name is.
Dude, there were a lot of sequels to Beethoven.
Yeah, they're still making it.
Third.
Yep, Beethoven's 9th. We got all the way up to that.
Number 2, big hit movie, White Men Can't Jump.
No, they can't.
I haven't watched that in a long time.
No. I remember the Rosie Perez going on Jeopardy subplot.
That's a strange movie.
Strange movie.
But that guy that made that movie, he had the
Sheraton.
Yeah, he had the Tin Cup and the
Bill
Durham and this one, and he sort of had a formula.
Yeah.
Weirdo sports movies. And number 1, With a Bullet. After being five weeks out at the box office, still number 1. The erotic thriller to end all erotic thrillers. Basic Instinct.
Nice. You totally see her.
You gotta squint and you gotta be ready for it too.
Yeah, right. But that was the big thing about that. That's why everybody was still going to see it.
Really?
Yep.
No, we haven't done that.
No, we haven't.
We'll talk. There's a lot that can be said about Basic Instinct.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, number one, Sharon Stone gives a very star-making performance.
She
in the
became
film.
a star. Yeah.
The erotic. This is the heyday of the erotic thriller. Erotic thriller is the perfect sexual vehicle for repressed Americans.
It's probably time for me to make finally get at my parody movie erotic thriller into theaters.
Yeah,
it's just called erotic thriller.
Right. It's by the Epic movie guys.
Yeah. No, I wrote it.
I think Fatal Instinct already came out.
That's true. You're right.
But anyway, Basic Instinct number one. Deep Cover can't get a nice pick's worth of distance from number one.
All right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Ice picks.
Ice picks.
Boobs.
Yep. So Deep Cover. So this is kind of, when I was watching it, I was reminded of Ricochet a lot while I was watching it.
Because it's from the early 90s.
I think that's it.
Hip-hop music?
Well, no, I think it's just early 90s. And
it's in a city. Takes place in a city.
So there's kind of a early 90s cop drama, and it's like either those movies can still be good, or just because of their setting and just their production values back in the 90s, it's like, no, these movies can't really be good anymore because...
I thought this was a good movie.
You thought you enjoyed this movie?
I thought this was a good movie, so I would say yes.
Okay.
It can be. This has a fairly tight screenplay, which has... me, I feel like it definitely has a good beginning, middle, and end.
No. The beginning is ridiculous with the father and the kid.
Okay. That would be, I would call the prologue.
Yeah, okay.
And that is overwrought. That's like a little opera.
It's definitely starting off on the wrong foot. And I guess that's where I was coming from with the production values, even, because like him getting shot into it, I was like, well, that doesn't even look very real.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if I would have had that footage and I had been the editor, I would have not started the movie with it, obviously, but I might have flashed back to it a little bit like a nightmare.
Or
because it has the feeling of a nightmare because it's so overdone. Maybe it was supposed to be from the kid's perspective or something.
And I was also very, like, the credit sequence.
We were both really very puzzled by that. Friend of the show, Alicia Spiegel and I, we were like, we are not digging this. This is not the beginning of Seven, where it's like a really awesome credit sequence.
Right.
It's just like something happening in slow motion.
Right. And so I was actually, confession, I was watching this on my computer, which we're, able to do these days.
Scandalous.
Exactly. And so, like, the screen kept kind of, not only was it in slow motion, but it would stop, and I was like, am I getting a bad file? Do I have a bad file?
It wasn't your computer.
No.
That's the way that it's supposed to be. It's like this weird...
shows up later, even.
And it's normal.
Yeah.
Okay, we should pause.
Okay.
You didn't like it, I liked it. We're going to move on here to what the hell is this movie about?
Yeah.
Deep Cover is a 1992 noir cop thriller starring Larry Fishburne as a
police officer,
teetotaler cop
sure,
who gets recruited to be a undercover drug dealer in order to take down bigger drug dealers who are sort of stereotypic South American powerful men.
Yeah.
Sort of like the Scarfaces, if you will.
Yeah, yep.
Of the universe of Deep Cover. So he's just this do-gooder. He doesn't drink or do any drugs because of his father, which has been explained.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't really need that scene.
We know it clearly could be explained. Like Charles Martin Smith's character,
He could just say it.
He does say it. He says
exposition
because he goes, I'm God. I know all about you. You don't, you don't
Right.
drink. You don't because you're.
But so he's recruited.
Yep.
He is going to go out on the streets, sell drugs, try to make contacts.
That's a bit of a whiplash there too. Okay, so we get the first scene. 20 years later, Cincinnati, and then bam, 2 weeks later, Los Angeles.
Yeah. Well, he's going from East Coast to the West Coast.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little choppy.
Yeah.
But if you told me the story of this movie, okay, if let's go back to Ricochet because I bristle at the comparison.
Okay.
Because tell me the story of Ricochet.
Well, Ricochet is ridiculous. Okay.
Ricochet is like the stupidest, most ridiculous. Ricochet is like if the first 2 minutes of Deep Cover were expanded into a movie length. Like there's a scene in that movie where John Lithgow duct tapes phone books to himself and has a sword fight in prison.
Right, and he kills somebody with a. It doesn't make any sense. Ricochet is stupid. Okay,
this is a noir.
Yes,
this is I'm going into the world to try to do some good, and the longer I spend doing bad things, the more it corrupts me, and the more that I don't even know what I'm doing it anymore for.
And we probably got the fact that there's Lawrence Fishburne's voiceover probably helps set the mood.
Well, it definitely tips you in that it wants to be like an old noir.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole setting in the early 90s didn't bother me. Because if you watch a lot of the old proto-noirs, the ones from the 30s, 40s, 50s, they're all... they're going to be low production values, and they're going to be set in a different time.
I don't know. There's just I can also name the neighbor across the
okay, yeah, she's a pretty racist
that whole
character.
Scene was like, no, I don't want this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and no, that caricature. She's a caricature more than a character. Yep, I agree with that.
Okay.
There's a lot of at the beginning as far as the cinematography. There's some interesting choices made by the cinematographer, like whenever he's showing him slides, the slide projector is like from behind him, and it's lighting his kind of giving him a halo.
Okay.
Which, is really interesting looking, but he's also angelic.
Oh, right.
And then there's a lot of really, really warm, like red color tones and blue color tones.
Yeah.
And, like, they're really using the light and the smoke and stuff to make some interesting compositions. And then at other times, it looks like the old Batman TV show.
It's really,
just like
when he comes out of the and after he kills this, or there was one part
earlier
where the whole,
too.
Yeah, no, the camera just turns and it's like, are we in a Batman villains? Because the old Batman TV show, the villains layers are always
sideways.
Angled.
Yeah. So he does that a few times. Definitely. The woman who lives in his crappy apartment, she's sort of a racist welfare stereotype.
Yeah,
that's also kind of misogynist.
Latina, yeah. No, so she offers this.
It's like classist, racist, and sexist all in one character.
That scene where she offers to sell her son, it's just like so over the top.
Yeah,
it was painful for me.
Yeah, we get it, movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was extraneous as well. It wasn't crucial to the plot.
No,
or anything.
right,
and so
that was right.
There were... I do think... this is a... so, anyway, he infiltrates the drug dealers.
Yes.
He starts to meet the lower-level peons, and it comes into his mind that he wants to meet the guy that's on the next level up, and it's Jeff Goldblum.
Right.
Jeff Goldblum's character is called, Jason.
David.
Jason.
Jason David, or
I think it might be David Jason.
You're right. Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's confusing. And this is early period, early to mid period Goldblum.
It's like so. A great Goldblum scene is his higher up in the drug pyramid. So I'm jumping ahead where he kills the one guy. So
Larry Fishburne?
No, so Larry Fish. So
there's a scene where the Gallegos, Felix Barbarossa.
Yeah, Barbarossa.
So Barbarossa is a tick on the food chain above
Jeff Goldblum.
Yep. And then above Barbarossa is Gallegos.
Right.
Nope, but there's also Guzman.
Oh,
damn it!
Yeah, exactly.
Who are all these people?
So I'm talking about though
I think Guzman is above Gallegos.
Maybe
It goes Fishburne.
Oh,
Goldblum.
Yep.
Barbarossa, Gallegos, Guzman.
Right. So Guzman's the one that is the highest up. The president is friends with the president.
Right.
Friends with George Bush.
Right.
Yeah.
He goes fishing with George Bush.
Exactly.
I think it was cool they went there.
Yeah, I thought that was I like that. And then they also said, I got a Republican who's trying to. The Republicans love it if it's a person of color that I could bring in front of them. So back 20 years later. But I was talking about the scene where
Barbarossa beats a guy to death with a pool cue.
Yes. And he talks to Jeff Goldblum. He's like, "You ever see a dead guy before?" And Jeff Goldblum goes into this story about camp, where he's just like, "Oh yeah." When I was in camp.
I was in camp. And
exactly.
There's I'm strange. I'm weird. And a kid got run over by a skiing accident. He had some real Goldblum touches. I'm sure that there's a lot of cutting room floor Goldblum touches that were a lot more interesting. There's a scene where he talks about a threesome or the weirdest thing you've ever done sexually. And Goldblum's and Larry Fishburne's like, it's with your mom and your dad. And as the scene fades out, Goldblum's like, "What was my dad like? Was he pretty wild?" So he's letting his freak flag fly, but not quite as much as you would want.
Right.
Although in the final scene, I have written here, Goldblum looks like a dominatrix supermodel.
Oh,
he's got his hair slicked back. He's got this leather coat with like a big high collar.
He's got the shoulder pads.
Going on, and he's like stomping around. I'm sure in boots or something.
Yep.
He looks really awesome. He looks like he stole Grace Jones' outfit from A View to a Kill or something.
Right. So
anyway,
that was also ridiculous. I mean, it was Jeff Goldblum, but it was just so kind of silly. It's like, you ever see a dead guy? And he goes into this long story.
Actually,
exactly.
So that's where I think the movie gets really good, though, because for me, once Larry Fishburne's undercover, the local cops don't know that he's a cop because he's from somewhere else.
Yeah.
He's been recruited by the DEA. Charles Martin Smith has placed him there.
Yeah, I didn't like when I also bristled at the line where he's like, so he comes to Charles Martin Smith with a bunch of drugs, and he's like, Charles Martin's like, well, we can't buy that much drugs. What am I supposed to do with it? You're a drug dealer. Deal drugs.
Why did you bristle at that?
I don't know. It just kind of was like, oh, come on.
Well, but that's the whole movie in and of itself. It's like, how much of a criminal would you be in order to take down bigger criminals?
Yeah.
Because he's actually embedded. And so, in a way, being undercover like he is like being a spy. And so it's like if you were a spy in World War II, would you kill some American troops in order to get Hitler or whatever?
Right. Yeah.
Is sort of the ethics of this. And there's a part where he has to kill somebody.
Right. That scene was kind of crazy, too.
Yeah. I thought that was good.
It was a good scene. The only thing that I had a problem with, and I wrote this, is such a look of surprise at being shot.
Well, that's what what did you think was happening, buddy?
Exactly.
The thing is like, I think that they did that on purpose. Like, he's got all of his bravado.
Yeah.
And he thinks it's worked so far.
Right.
But, like, if Lawrence Fishburne is actually going to shoot him, like, it doesn't matter how big his muscles are or
Right,
whatever. You know what I mean? And I do think that's done on purpose. It's like anybody could kill anybody. They just have to do it.
Well,
they have to be willing to do it.
I felt like that actor, though, you're right. He was just like so surprised. I can't believe you actually shot me after I just peed on you and made fun of you. You go and shoot me?
Yeah. This is a pretty small movie, I think.
Yeah.
So
well,
I think that a lot of the parts maybe could have benefited from better actors.
But the great thing,
Felix Barbarossa in particular, I feel like they just went from the bargain bin of the South American drug cartel
he's
actors.
Been in, I remember that actor, I think, was in like Barney Miller or something like that. But I gotta say, shout out to the line that happens after Lawrence Fishburne kills that guy, and he's like, I shot somebody who looks like me. His parents look like my parents, and nobody cares.
And I can get away with it.
Get away with it.
Yeah, that was very noir.
Yes.
And he's back at his apartment looking at the bloodstained dollars that his dad gave to him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so that was effective, but then there's just other stuff that kept taking me out of it.
Oh, what'd you think of the really intense hand slap game between Barbarossa and Jeff Goldblum?
That was ridiculous too. And then the final, I feel like the final shot where he like punches the hand and he's like,
yeah,
it was too intense
in the
hand slapping.
Yeah, it's the hand slap game from camp, and
exactly
to its credit, he does say it's the hand slap game from camp.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's, I guess what happens at that point is that Lawrence Fishburne and Jeff Goldblum are getting too big for their britches.
Well, yeah,
they want to be too big a fish. They want to move up in the world.
They're trying to sell the synthetic Coke. So you got this other Coke that causes you problems, but this synthetic Coke is good stuff.
Well, you think that they're talking about crystal meth?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't put that together.
I think they may be trying to say, like, this isn't illegal yet. We could make meth in a lab. You don't have to grow anything.
Right.
I think that's what the deal was.
Oh, I missed that completely.
Well,
but maybe.
That was what I was thinking.
Sure.
You remember the character of Gopher from this movie?
Yeah.
He's like this fat old man that hangs out with the bad guys.
He's from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The actor was in that.
What is his job? It's like that one scene. It's like it's Gopher's birthday.
Yeah, that's the scene with the hand slapping scene. Yeah,
and in the scene where he's killing the guy with the pool cue, Gopher is horrified by the violence. Right. Like he's just a bystander.
Right.
He's one of the inner circle. Like he must have seen death before.
Sure.
But he still hangs around towards the end of the...
Lawrence Fishburne actually has him, and he's like, hey, Gopher, go get the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, the spoils of war. He got Gopher.
That's right.
The scene before he goes and kills the other drug dealer, I was way into the entertainment at the club. Like, there was a rapper that was, like, very early 90s hip-hop, and there were two fly girls on the stage.
Oh, yes, that scene, yeah.
That was wonderful. And then later on we meet the girl who launders the money.
Yeah, Victoria Dillard.
Who becomes
from Ricochet.
Who becomes a... love interest of Larry Fishburne. Yes. And they have sex in their sex robes.
Yeah.
Every time they're in bed together, they're wearing these Asian robes.
That's right. And then they get abducted. Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne gets abducted later.
In his sex robe. Exactly. I think more movies should just have people laying in bed in robes to indicate that intercourse has occurred.
I could dig that.
Let's put on our sex robes, baby. But yeah, I mean, I think that this movie has the courage of its convictions for sure as far as the storytelling goes, because once he gets so deep into it, he actually starts carrying out the mission. And as we said earlier, he gets so good at it, he gets close to Guzman.
He's real,
and then it turns out actually Charles Martin Smith's character from the DEA is getting it from his higher-ups. Don't go after Guzman. Right, we like him now.
That's the start of the third act, I would say, is when it's like, oh, now...
We like him now. Yeah. But in the second act, there's a lot of deals with the devil where he kills the other drug dealer, where Jeff Goldblum shoots the guy, Barbarossa in the car.
Yeah.
And he gets hit by the car. And Lawrence Fishburne does not want to be a part of that, but he's sort of trapped in the situation. So he's been a part of like multiple deaths, but it's all to save the crack babies and everything, and
he also takes a woman who's assisting dealing him, and she gets shot, and that's on his conscience.
Right. And so he has a lot of stuff on his conscience.
The neighbor girl across the street, she dies.
Yeah, but that's just a drug overdose. That probably would have happened anyway.
Well, he's the one dealing drugs.
I know.
And that's where the cops like, you could have just, the preacher cops like, you went up there and just killed her. She's dead because of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I do think the movie is interested in those questions. It's not just window dressing.
Right. No, yeah.
I think
you got to say that Bill Duke is an African-American director, so I think that definitely helped this movie.
Yeah.
Because it
wrestles with some of those questions for real. I think it falls more on the side of being just an entertaining crime thriller than like immortal treatise. But definitely it's interested in these ethical dilemmas that he's placed in.
Right.
And I think that the very end with the cop and Jeff Goldblum and him is fairly satisfying, almost in a Wild West sort of a way.
Yeah, right.
Because you really don't know what choices Lawrence Fishburne's character is going to make in the third act.
Right. At that point, you didn't know. You're like, does he shoot him?
They shoot each other?
Right.
Does he decide to live a life of crime? Because to begin with, he starts to live a life of crime instead of being a cop in the beginning of the third act, because he's been so betrayed by the DEA.
Right.
And you don't know his motives for that. Is he a vigilante? Is he a drug dealer? Is he what? And all that stuff's really interesting, I think, mostly because it shows that slippery ethical slope. You know, he's so moral he doesn't even take a drink at the beginning of the movie. But then slowly he starts to cross all these lines. But he's telling himself it's for the greater good. But, like... The thing I was thinking of, maybe I just like ethics a lot, but the thing I was thinking about is don't all of the bad guys tell themselves they're doing this for some reason or another?
Oh, yeah, sure. No, well, to make money, maybe they're okay with just making money for themselves.
Right, but they might be like, the system's stacked against me, I didn't have any advantages, so I get to do this, the laws don't protect me and like, you could come up with a reason why it's okay for you to do anything.
That's true.
And that's why, and then definitely once he kills somebody...
Yeah.
After that, it's like, you had better be... But, like, people in war kill people and say it's for the greater good. So it's like...
Protecting, the country and...
So I think that I think the movie does a nice job of doing that. And I do think it has a sort of a satisfying climax, and the little coda in Congress and stuff with the videotape I thought worked pretty well.
The only thing is that they brought the kid back. So the... Latina,
the $3,000 kid.
Yeah, exactly. Lawrence Fishburne ends up getting him anyway. So,
does he end up getting him, or is he just hanging out at the funeral
with them? Well, that's not the funeral. I think they visit the tombstone after.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just going there with her, though. I mean, I don't think you're supposed to think he's a foster dad at the end of the movie.
No, I don't think that. I guess I didn't think that. But it was still, they brought that kid back after we had forgotten about him almost. I felt like I was.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that kid. Great.
Yeah, we could have gotten rid of the stereotypical neighbor. We could have gotten rid of the prologue.
Yeah.
I say more weird Goldblum stories and digressions.
Exactly.
Let Goldblum be a little weirder.
That was a great scene. It's like, have you ever seen a dead body? What? That you ask.
Because he's having fun. I mean, he's sort of like this guy who thinks he can sort of dabble in crime and get rich off of it. And he's slick, and he's a lawyer, and it's a nice character. And you see sort of he gets tainted by revenge and crime, too, to where he makes more and more dangerous.
He says that when he gets his hand broken after the hand slap game, where he says, they didn't respect me because I didn't make them respect me.
Right, right. Yeah. But then, like, that way lies madness. You gotta start killing people.
Yeah, he kills them.
This movie does not make being in the criminal underworld look like any kind of fun.
No.
Which, noir.
Yeah, right. So, I
don't know, pretty good.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. 4 stars is a nice duvet.
I was gonna say a duvet, and then 3 stars would be like a comforter.
Yeah.
2 stars is a blanket.
Yeah, right.
And 1 star would be like a sheet, but it's got holes in it,
yeah,
like the one you don't want to have.
Right, sure.
You had to call the front desk at the hotel. Can I get some new sheets? This one looks pretty gross.
What are you going to give?
I don't think you guys changed the sheets in this hotel room.
Eric?
I'll give this 3 stars.
3 stars? I'm going to go...
I would say if this is on Prime, Netflix, HBO Now, or you happen to run across it on cable... I would definitely watch it.
I would check it out. I would between 2 and 2.5 stars. I mean, there's some things that were just too ridiculous for me.
I think you're holding yourself back. You want to give this 2 stars.
No, 2 stars. Yeah, sure. I mean, there are good, like Jeff Goldblum's performance. I do, and Lawrence Fishburne's performance.
Lawrence Fishburne's excellent in this movie,
and so
he's always good.
Yeah. So I mean, there's definitely things to watch, and that standoff at the end was intense, but
there was the car chase in the beginning or the middle point of the movie.
Yeah, they were riding in a limo. That was a little over the top for me too.
It is a little over the top, but instead of being like actiony, it's still more of a moral dilemma thing.
Yeah,
because Lawrence Fishburne is driving the car, and he's trying to save the girl who's his girlfriend, but also in the car is
all 4 of them.
Right. And he's stuck. He can't. So it's more about his choices than it is like the exciting action.
Right.
And at the end, there really is no exciting action. It's just what does he choose to do in this particular situation, which I ended up coming down on the side of thinking that was fairly interesting.
Yeah.
Knowing the end, it's not surprising how everything turned out. But from the beginning, I mean, I feel like it could have had several different endings, and that made it more interesting. It wasn't like a foregone conclusion.
2 stars.
So watch Deep Cover. It's a hell of a lot better than Ricochet.
It is. It's better than Ricochet.
Well, Gary, thanks for going back to the 90s with me again.
Always.
I'm on the Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm on the Instagram.
Yeah.
The podcast is on the Twitter.
Yeah.
You're on the Twitter.
Yeah.
We're on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
We're on Spotify.
Yep. You can listen to us on Spotify.
Thanks again to Don Spiegel for writing the show's theme music, and come back to My So-Called Podcast in 2 weeks for another journey back into the 90s.
Bye.